Hello there, Meteorologist Shawn Cable here in the First Alert Weather Center. A couple things we're watching today, and the first one is system number 2 of the week, which is going to stay mainly to our south, impacting much of central into northeastern Iowa and clipping the far southeastern corner of Minnesota. We're basically going to get a few flurries, maybe a dusting in a few spots, especially south of I-90. Algona, Mason City area, depending on how far this thing shuffles northward, there may be half inch to an inch, maybe a little more there, but overall it's going to be a pretty low-key event. And then after that, we are going to be cold and quiet through the weekend and the rest of next week. Before we get to all that, though, let's talk about the snowfall totals from yesterday. We had some pretty good snow amounts, and I put quite a few of them on here from across the state of Minnesota. Duluth had over 13.5 inches. In fact, I'm going to show you some of the northern Minnesota totals in a second. They got clobbered up on the North Shore, but some other numbers here: Prior Lake, Edina, the Twin Cities area, the most snow with 6 to 8 or 9 inches of accumulation from that system yesterday. We had about 5 in Wilmer, 5 in New Prague. Hutchinson, 4.5. Montgomery had around 3.5 inches of snow. And this is one of those situations where it's really tough to measure, and you're basically not going to get an accurate snow measurement because the wind was so strong. And when that happens, you have to find an area that's least disturbed as possible, measure multiple locations, avoid the obvious drifts and bare spots, and kind of average it together. And this is what we get. Mankato, North Mankato came in at around 3-ish inches of accumulation. Bellevue, 2.6. We had 2.1 in New Ulm, 2 inches in Springfield. Rochester with around 1.5 inches. Clarks Grove, about an inch. So not huge amounts. But look at some of these totals across northeastern Minnesota. We had some pretty wild numbers up there with north of Grand Marais, 38.6 inches of snow. It was a lake effect type snow. We had that northeasterly wind off of Lake Superior that kept feeding moisture in, and that just kept the snow coming. And most of that over and done with now as we concentrate on our second system that's moving in. And again, we're not expecting much snow here in our neck of the woods. A dusting at best. Most places won't get anything at all, but there will be a few off and on flurries, I think, here tonight into Friday morning. Here's the snow forecast. Notice that sharp cutoff once again. We're going to go from maybe 5 to 8 or more inches, and then just on the northern end of that band, maybe 10 miles down the road, there could be just a half inch to an inch. So that's where I think the heaviest snow is going to be at this point. You can kind of watch how the system's going to slide through as we make our way through tonight into Friday morning. It's going to be a fairly quick mover, but there will be some very narrow and very heavy bands of snow associated with this system, especially across central to moving into northern Iowa. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on things. Keep your KEYC First Alert app handy if you are in northern Iowa, just in case this thing drifts a little further north. You could end up with maybe a dusting to an inch or even a little more if this thing does waffle a little further north. But right now, I think this is our best shot. You can see here the percentage probability of 1 inch or more of accumulation. It's nothing along Minnesota Highway 60, U.S. Highway 169. But as you get a little further closer to Fairmont, we start to see that percentage probability is still fairly low, but it does creep upward a little bit as we get closer to Fairmont and especially down into northern Iowa, where some of those heavier snow bands are going to be. Check out our First Alert app. Go to the 24/7 Weather Channel or KEYC.com. You can see the whole list of winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories that are in effect for much of central into the southern part of northern Iowa here from tonight into early Friday morning. Other than that, we don't have a lot going on. The rest of the weekend is going to be cold, quiet. Temperatures, high temperatures are only going to be in the mid-20s, I think, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We will warm back up a little next week with temperatures climbing back into the upper 30s to low 40s, but we're not going to be back in 50-plus territory anytime soon, but also no major winter systems on the way. By the way, today is Drought Monitor Day. Take a look at this. You can see that our latest drought monitor basically has abnormally dry conditions from along and west of a line from Mankato to Blue Earth, with a bit of moderate drought across far southwestern Minnesota. Now, this only includes the data cutoff is Tuesday, so it doesn't include the last couple of days or the latest snow system. I know we are really dry with moderate drought across parts of northern Minnesota. Hopefully the snow over the last couple of days helped that out. But there you go. That's what's happening with the drought situation. From here on out, it's going to be a pretty quiet but cold rest of the week into the weekend. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.